Hello, welcome to a brand new Unsourced Wall unboxing. Today we're looking at the brand new Cyborg Superman from MAFEX. It's labeled Return Superman, but as we all know, Cyborg Superman was first introduced in the Reign of the Superman story arc as part of the Death Return of Superman. But let's not quibble minor details here. I do have the introductory issue here. I have all of them actually, including the Black Superman issue, and I love this story arc. I always have. I think it's one of the first Superman stories I ever encountered, like, at all. And it's always had a special place for me. And so when MAFEX started announcing these Reign of the Superman or replacement Superman figures, I knew I had to get them. They've announced both Cyborg Superman and Steel. And I only got Cyborg Superman because, first MAFEX figure. I never got a MAFEX figure before. I hear some good things, some bad things about them. So I just want to dip my toe in it. They haven't announced or teased even Superboy or the Eradicator yet. I hope they do. If there's something great and Steel turns to be great, it would kind of suck if we had to wait or never get, in the worst case scenario, the other two replacement Superman figures. So we're going to look into this right now and we're going to see what's going on. Oh wow. Comes a little stand. Oh, that's fantastic. Again, all this is going to be brand new to me because I haven't gotten any one of these ever. Alright, so here we have in our box. We have 4 pairs of hands. They're all linked on these little peg trays. I'm not quite sure if these are, what they want you to do. You have one pointing robot hand. You have one regular punching hand. You have one pair of open grappling hands, 2 pairs of semi-enclosed gripping hands, and then 2 pairs of flight hands, 2 blast effects, and 1 giant gun hand for those blast effects. And here we go. I do think it's a little bit awkward. The blast effects are really bulbous at the ends, so they do bump into each other, leading to this kind of outsplay right here. I'm not quite sure if there's an optimal way of getting these both in without that happening. So it's just something you have to learn to live with. If they don't, I guess you could heat them up and fidget them around so that they're perfectly parallel. But other than that, that's that. And the figure itself, it looks sublime. I think that the design is really well translated. It has that Jurgens aesthetic and feel, but it's very much more elegant, it's more pristine. Everything looks more fluid and, lack of a better word, pretty. Like, Cyborg Superman is supposed to have half of Clark Kent's face, but he's got like blue eyelashes, eyebrows. That's really fantastic. And I do love that the paint work is very detailed, like the individual teeth and the red chin and red eye. It is all very well captured and rendered, and I think it gives this figure a nice sense of personality. So that's really fun, and I definitely appreciate that. But it's still very recognizably Cyborg Superman, and it's very recognizably Cyborg Superman from the Reign of the Superman story arc. And I think that a lot of the posability is very fluid as well. It's got a nice range of motion, and any incidental poses are they just come out so naturally, which is fantastic. So you can futz with him all around and he'll never feel like he's out of place, which is great for a figure like this where, there's gonna be a lot of options with which to really get him situated. So I decided to try to test out the stand. Now, I think the worst thing about it is that I'm gonna definitely need to tighten up the screws as they are very loose, but I'm not gonna do that right now because who has the wherewithal to do that right now? But they are definitely so you can get a levitating pose, which is great, and I think that's really nice. Alright, so I didn't say I was gonna do this, but I actually went back and I tightened the stand, and I think he looks so good when you have this all sort of set up and situated. The arm of the stand is just perfect. It holds so well. So even though it's obviously not like a deluxe kind of stand, it does come with the figure, and the figure did cost a lot of money, but it can get the job done, and I'm really glad to have it. So that's a nice little addendum. And I do love the fabric of the cape. It's nice and billowy. You got this nice inline wire, and it's a character all to itself. But if you want something a little bit more classical and standard, you can definitely kind of just have it flat on his back. I will say that one thing is that it does bunch up around the neck right there, and that does look a little awkward and weird. I think it looks really kind of thick around his neck, and gives an off-putting nature. Obviously in the comics you can have a flat cape and doesn't really have any effect on it, but when you turn that into a physical one, it's a very bulky, and like I mentioned, very bunched up. You can sort of situate it out more in front, so it does have the capability to do something like that, but honestly, for my purposes, I'm going to try and get it to look as standardly Superman as possible. Let's try on the hands. Now, the hands are pretty simple to do. The pegs don't really have any resistance. It's not that thick. It's not that tough. I don't feel like I'm going to break anything. And the other hands for the Cyborg side, I mean, they're pretty simple as well. And I'm not quite sure what utility of these is going to be. We all know what they are. Cyborg hands. So, I mean, that's fine and dandy. But what I'm really interested in, right? Stop reporting him, that's fun, is how this is going to work. Let's get it done here. Oh my god. See, there's no instruction manual. I mean, I guess there is like these things on the back, but they are that's it. Like, maybe it says what to do, but there's no leaflet, no booklet. So this isn't a pistol hand, it is a arm hand. I mean, it's an arm gun. So that's actually really cool. I think that it works really fluidly as well. The design of where it connects to the forearm doesn't hinder the articulation at all, and looks really fantastic, and you can do some really cool stuff with that. I do think that the gun itself and the blast effects weigh it down a bit. You can see that like it is really working against it, but if you do it more at a 90-degree angle, he holds it really well. And maybe that's something that this stand part can help with. You can leverage the gun onto this, help it kind of waylay that weight, so it's not bogging itself down, and I think it looks great. But yeah, otherwise, keep it at a 90-degree angle, you'll be fine. And you know what, I am gonna try a flying pose. There are all these kind of specialty stands, but they all cost like a bundle, especially if you're going for something that's actually gonna have both the tensile strength and look good and won't take up a lot of space. So using the Metacom stand that came included, I actually think this is really good, at least for what it is. I think that works so much better as like a flight stand right now than it does as like a levitating or hovering stand. So if you wanted to keep the stand and you were preferring to do a flight pose, then this works really well, and I think it looks really cool. Now, there is one thing I will say about Cyborg Superman that I am a little bit disappointed with, is that, well, I know I mentioned at the very beginning that it is pretty, and it is really fun looking and nice looking. It's got like an elegance to it that you don't really see in the actual comic itself, but it's a shield, and it's a very nitpicky thing. Now, when this was first announced, they teased it with a more accurate shield. You can see on the comic here with the logo, there is meant to be a sort of dark hue to the shield. It's like half dark on there. To signify again another distinction between the normal side and the Cyborg side. And you don't really get that all here, and I guess they might have been a little bit too cost prohibitive, but it is a shame that they did tease it with that logo and it ended up not being something they were able to do. And I guess if you were a really dedicated or talented customizer, you could get like a black wash, get some gray hue, water it down or temper it down, and just etch in half. It wouldn't be so difficult, but I do not have even a little bit of the talent to do so. So I'm not going to even attempt that. But the figure itself is really fun. It's got, again, great range of motion. Nothing feels tight or even too loose. I guess the waist is kind of awkward because it does have this weird, pelvic bone, pelvic region showing up, and it's hard to really gauge like when it's in alignment. Like it's like a optical illusion for your brain a bit. Like sometimes he comes off looking lopsided, and I don't really think he is. He's very symmetrical, but it's the negative space. It really kind of messes with you. Same with the legs. This looks like it's off center because of like the calves and the thigh, and this being a completely different thing. It doesn't help that there isn't any thigh articulation, which, you know, it could have been, especially for the robot leg. And not that it hinders anything. He can really sort of get dynamic walking poses anyway, or something like that. You know, something more menacing and threatening. But would have been interesting to see. They could have pulled it off really well. But the rest of our articulation is really fantastic. Bicep, butterfly, up and down, 9-degree, everywhere. It's really great. And I have to say, this is a fantastic figure, and I really enjoy having it. I hope that they come out with the other 3. I would love an Eradicator figure. Eradicator, I think, is my favorite Replacement Superman character, and it would be so fantastic to have like a physical representation of that character as well. But yeah, this is a fantastic figure. I think I'm gonna go with 1 punching hand and then 1 grasping hand, just to show off like his more dark side. I'm definitely gonna pick up the steel, you know, based on this. You know, hopefully they don't waste their time and they get the Superboy and Eradicator out quickly. He does have a bit of a balance issue. I think it's the cape. I think the cape is really sort of weighing him down, but I don't think that should be too much of a problem. Get him like situated like that, leaning forward a bit. But yeah, let me know what you think below. Are you gonna pick this up? Are you planning on doing so? Do you like the different tier of Superman? And who is your favorite replacement Superman? Mine has to be Eradicator, as I mentioned, and I can't wait to see if MAFEX actually announce the other 2, because I'm gonna pre-order them ASAP. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and see you again next time.